You walk through the automatic doors to grab 3 simple things: milk, bread, or apples. 20 minutes later, you're standing at the self-checkout, staring at a screen that says you owe $147. That confusion is intentional. Every square foot of floor space and every shelf height is part of a calculated effort to ensure that 3 items turn into 30. This map shows why it is so difficult to shop elsewhere. Loblaw-affiliated banners, like Real Canadian Superstore, No Frills, and Shoppers Drug Mart, are positioned so that 9 out of 10 Canadians live within 10 kilometers of their doors. Combined with just 2 other major players, a massive majority of the country's food supply is controlled by a tight oligopoly. This lack of competition allows for executive compensation that exists in a different reality than the shoppers in the aisles. In 2023, Loblaw's incoming CEO received a signing bonus and salary worth $22 million for just 2 months of work, roughly 500 times the median Canadian income. When a handful of companies hold a captive market for human survival, the math favors the retailer before you even grab a cart. Consumer choice becomes a carefully maintained illusion. The manipulation starts the second you walk inside. The first things that hit your senses are the vibrant colors and fresh smells of the produce section or the bakery. These items trigger the primacy effect. Your brain registers the healthy vegetables early on, which grants you a subconscious moral license to buy highly processed junk food 10 minutes later. Even the carts have been modified. Since their invention, shopping carts have tripled in size, because an oversized empty basket creates a psychological compulsion to fill the space. Research shows that doubling the cart's volume leads shoppers to buy 40% more items. By the 15-minute mark, you usually reach the essentials. Milk is almost always buried in the furthest possible corners of the floor plan, forcing you to navigate a gauntlet of high-margin impulse traps just to get to the back of the store. During that walk, the store uses sensory deprivation to keep you inside. There are no windows to show the passing of time and no clocks. A slow-tempo playlist is used to reduce your physical walking speed, inducing a state of time blindness. By controlling your pace and managing your senses, the store effectively exhausts your willpower before you ever see a price tag. This diagram maps brain activity during a grocery run. At the 23-minute mark, the rational center becomes exhausted and powers down. Past this threshold, you operate on emotional autopilot. Your capacity to compare prices drops, leaving you susceptible to simple visual cues. Retailers exploit this fatigue through vertical eye lines. The most expensive name-brand items are placed at an adult's eye level, while cereals with cartoon characters are positioned lower to match the eye line of a child. This fatigue makes it harder to spot greedflation, where prices are marked up under the cover of natural inflation. This happened systemically for 15 years, when Loblaw and its competitors ran a coordinated price-fixing scheme on basic sliced bread. Then there is shrinkflation. A company will keep an item at the same price point, but secretly reduce the volume of the food inside. The package looks the same, but you're carrying home less food for the same money. Skimpflation is even harder to notice. This is the substitution of quality ingredients for cheaper, heavier fillers, like adding more water to canned pumpkin or nitrogen to chip bags to maintain the weight without the nutritional value. By the end of a standard trip, your exhausted brain has been routed through a system that uses artificial markups, smaller packages, and diluted ingredients to maximize the total on your receipt. Knowing these psychological rules allows you to build a defense. You can reverse engineer the store's tactics to protect your budget. Protection starts with behavioral constraints. Since your rational brain has a strict time limit, you have to work fast. Eat before you go, use a rigid list, and refuse to browse any aisle that isn't on that list. You also have to change how you look at the shelves. The best value items are almost always on the bottom row. You physically have to bend down to find the deals the store is trying to hide from your eyeline. This graphic illustrates why you must ignore bulk labels. Brightly colored tags like 2 for $7 often trick fatigued shoppers into buying more. When you check the unit price, you frequently find that buying a single item is actually cheaper. The most effective macro defense is to shop elsewhere. Redirecting your budget to farmers markets, independent grocers, or ethnic food networks keeps your money in the community and removes you from the corporate system entirely. This strategy is becoming a necessity. While the major chains post record profits, 1 in 5 Canadians now experiences food insecurity. The gap between corporate earnings and public affordability is at an all-time high. That disparity is fueling widespread awareness. Community-led boycotts and organized pushback are finally applying pressure to a system that has relied on consumer passivity for decades. The entire business model relies on the customer acting on impulse. Breaking that autopilot is the only way to ensure you are the one in control of your budget when you step through those doors.